Welcome to Head Full of Radio, where a longtime Radiohead fan goes through the whole recorded discography alongside his friend, who's only familiar with the song Creep. Will we agree on the songs? Can I convert him into a fan? Let's find out.
Welcome to episode 147. It's almost Halloween.
Ooh.
Are you going to go out for Halloween this year?
Last year, no, actually, I'm not even going to say that out loud. I'm going to keep that close to my chest. But I didn't, so it doesn't count. But no, I don't know yet, but we'll think.
Okay, today's song is the last song on Amnesiac. It's called Life in a Glass House. Yeah. There's a lot of information about this song, so can I read you a giant bunch of it?
Please do.
Apparently, this song sort of can trace its origins to OK Computer and a song they had that they didn't release called Poison, which also served as the origin of Exit Music, which is the song at the end of Romeo and Juliet, if you remember. Yeah. It was later shelved. In a while, when we go through what the mini discs are called, they just released all of their mini discs after someone found them and put them on the internet. You'll be able to hear different versions of it. On the Radiohead.com website during OK Computer, there are some early draft lyrics of this song. It for a while it was called "Stuck in a Frozen Lake." It's been sort of all over the place. It was a little bit in the lyrics of Karma Police because he felt like the feeling was similar to the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they tried getting this song down. Johnny said, "I don't know how we're going to do it, though. It could end up like a bad song by The Cure or brilliant. It's difficult to tell." And that was in 1997, so 2 years before they recorded it. So they really had a hard time with the song. Tom said, "I'm desperate for people to understand all the words because they're really important. It began after I read this interview with the wife of a famous fairy." It began after I read famous fairy. Is that what I said?
I think so, yeah.
Let me try that sentence again. It began after I read this interview with the wife of a very famous actor who the tabloids completely hounded for 3 months like dogs from hell. She got copies of the papers with her picture and she posted them up all over the house, all over the windows, so that all the cameras that were outside on her lawn only had their own images to photograph. Wow, that's pretty interesting. I thought that was brilliant, and that's where the song started from. It was just a really sad, awful story about her desperately trying to cope while he's off filming. And the only reason she was being hounded was because it was rumored he was having an affair with his leading actress. I just thought nobody deserves this, especially when they're a completely innocent party. Yeah. At some point, the song started feeling sort of jazzy, but they didn't know how to do that. Yeah, it was experimental and sort of freeform, and they couldn't figure out how to finish it. So Johnny wrote a letter to Humphrey Littleton, who was a 70-year-old jazz trumpeter and presenter of a show on Radio 4 called I'm Sorry, I Haven't a Clue.
Yep, that's not something I'm familiar with, but I'll believe you.
Part of John's letter said, "It's probably an awful cheek, and we're sure you're very busy, but we're a bit stuck." So Littleton thought it was very polite and came over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and here's some quotes from him. "It's wild. It starts with me doing sort of an ad-libbed, bluesy minor key meandering. And it gradually gets so crazy that we're sort of playing real, wild, primitive New Orleans blues stuff." The person doing the interview asked him for a quick blast by way of explanation. So he picked up his trumpet and went,
Brilliant.
Yeah, it says in here, after borrowing OK Computer from his daughter and a brief meeting with Johnny. That's so perfect. He and his usual quintet joined the rest of the band in a recording studio. People had said that they were all crazy, he said of Radiohead, but in fact, we had a good time. Nobody knew what anybody was going to do, though. They didn't want it to sound like a slick radio production, but a slightly exploratory thing of people playing as if they didn't have it all planned out. I did detect some sort of eye rolling at the start of the session, as if to say we were miles apart from what they wanted. They went through a few nervous breakdowns during the course of it all, just through trying to explain to us what they wanted. Tom's behavior was especially curious. He was doing his vocals and he vanished from view altogether. He'd be sitting cross-legged in some sort of meditative posture at the bottom of the vocal booth. The session lasted 7 hours.
Wow. But see, that I feel like at a certain point you're just like frustrated. It sounds like that happened very early, but yeah.
Yeah, it says they got the take that sounded good, and they went, okay, let's go have some food and then come back and do more. And he said, not me. I'm not coming back.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good introduction.
I'm so curious what this is going to be. I think I was a bit more excited before I heard that.
Well, you know,
no, I don't really know.
Sometimes some of the best stuff comes from all that stress. You know,
true.
Like if you think about, I just watched this interview with Amy Poehler. She has a new podcast, and she's talking to Jack Black, and they actually bring this up.
Oh, very cool.
That, you know, sometimes some of the best music comes from like the darkest places. Like, if I don't know how familiar you are with Fleetwood Mac, but Rumors is one of, if not the best album of all time. It's in the conversation, and they are all going through shit with each other. Like there's divorces, there's cheating, there's drugs, and it's like,
that's still so wild to me that just still continued, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that they're singing some lines directly to piss the other person off, and yet it came out as a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be that way.
You can get some like real grit from it.
Yeah. So let's see if they use that here. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's see.
Go!
Oh. Okay, they've got me. So far.
So far.
So far. I'm waiting for it to get weird.
As always.
Yeah. Okay.
Did a clarinet on that right ear?
You're asking the wrong chap.
It sounds like a clarinet and a French horn to me, or a trombone.
I feel like I've said this a lot, this album, but it's got like James Bond elements to it.
Yeah,
like
it really does.
The intro line was very Skyfall to me. You gotta have a line about throwing stones with the glass house.
Exactly.
It feels very reminiscent of something. I can kind of imagine like Shirley Bassey singing this.
That's a strange mistake to make. You should turn the other cheek.
I just noticed how he pronounces things is very him.
Yeah, you're right.
Like he likes to pronounce the I's as like E's a lot of the time. It's got me moving my head. It's gonna really bother me what I think that first line of the chorus sounds like. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
I hope so.
Life in a glass house.
Mm-hmm.
What do I think about you? Like it was very interesting. I liked it. Like obviously it's not traditional for them. But like I'm usually not a jazz person at all, but I did like that. But then also it's like I think you mentioned something about a meanderiness. Was that for this episode? Or, yeah. And I can feel that, and I do feel like I was engaged throughout, but then I also felt like it felt a bit stop at times. It's like it gets certain points for just being stylistically cool and different and like enjoyable, but then I think there's part of it that's just like a little bit not for me. So I'm like fighting with the like thing that's like you deserve to be here, but then for me is it maybe a bit less there. So I'm toying again between two, but I think I would try and somewhat stay consistent with what actually it's not really consistent, but since I'm not convinced to give it the higher score, I'm going to go with an Ed.
I think I'm going to give it an Ed too. I think it's a good album closer for this album. It's certainly different, and the meandering thing was what the Humphrey Littleton said, that it starts with ad lib meandering where they're mirroring what the music is, and then it turns into like New Orleans stuff. And I can certainly hear that at the end, where I feel like, you know, when he's singing about sitting around and chatting, I felt like I was on the street in New Orleans, and there's like a marching band going by me.
Right.
I do like that it was, you know, very out of left field for them to call these guys. I think they certainly all the brass band really sort of made that song for me. Honestly, I think it pushed it up to an Ed instead of it being a little lower, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like it worked for what it is, but then I'm still just like not really sure in its entirety what it is, because it wasn't like fully committal to that. But then it was like a cool element. So I'm still a bit just like, What do I feel about this? Do I wish it was more that? I don't think I wish it was less that. But then it's like this hybrid thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's good as a hybrid. But sorry, yeah, you were saying.
no, I got you on that. You're totally right. Thank you, sir. That was Amnesiac. Our scores for the album overall,
Well, hey.
were both of us were lower than Kid A.
Mm-hmm.
I scored this at 3.47, and you scored it at 3.22.
Mm.
The closest we have to that is OK Computer, which I scored at 3.46.
That's very close. That's pretty much the same score.
And you scored it at 3.33.
Gotcha.
So we both went down from Kid A.
Mm.
And
Yeah, I see that. I feel like OK Computer had more songs that I feel like I'd revisit from what I remember.
So, yeah, but we
like
do have a lot left, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few things before we hit the next album.
Okay, well, excited for that.
We have 4 weeks in a row of hanging out with Chase, though.
Love that.
So we'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it. See you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. This podcast is recorded on Discord and is edited in GarageBand. The intro and outro music are Radiohead covers and can be found on Spotify under the band Lift. That's Lifte, with F as in Foxtrot. Also, find us on TikTok and Vimeo under the name @Headful of Radio.